Well, good morning everyone. Not the usual breakfast with Evo this morning. I'm down at the Secret Lake, the other side of Canterbury, and this morning I've caught a 42-pound common carp, fish of my dreams from the UK. It's only my second fish out of this lake in the last 2 years, and I've got Thomas here to share with me and a load of friends as well. So we're absolutely chuffed. I'm going to show it to you now. Let's have a look. Look at that. Like a hole in one. Well made off. What do you think of that one, Thomas?
Really big.
It's really big. It's a beautiful fish. That's a common carp. 42 pounds. We're going to get this one back. See you on the driving range in a minute. Morning everyone. Well, from the euphoria of the lake and that amazing 42-pound common carp, it's back to the driving range, having a little practice this morning. I'm going to show you a few bits with driver and driver setup, and you'll notice that I'm here on the range and I've got a Trackman 4 behind me, which is a new acquisition for the golf school. Fantastic piece of equipment for fitting, teaching, and we hope it's going to revolutionize the way that we can get you fitted into the right types of equipment. I'm going to crack on and hit a couple more shots, and then I'm going to show you exactly what this thing can do and how much it can help your game and how we fit clubs for you in the future. Well, it's taken me a few to warm up this morning, and I guess that's why we come and use the driving range before we go out to play. Feeling a bit rusty to say the least, having not practiced much, not played a great deal. But still good fun to get up here, and I can use the data from today's session to actually find out just what's going on in my swing, what the positions of the club are, and the technical data that this Trackman 4 can give me is just absolutely incredible. So we'll have a look at that afterwards, see what's going on with that, and I can find out a little bit about what I'm doing. I think it's more down to rust than anything else. But welcome everyone, welcome to Breakfast with Evo. I'm here on the driving range. One of our keen members has just turned up. It's literally minutes after 7 AM. One of our keen members has just turned up to hit a few balls before playing. I think it might be an 11 o'clock tea time, so an early start on the driving range. But we're here today to show you this new piece of kit, and also to give you some information about how we're actually going to be using it. In the email that I've sent you with this link on it to today's YouTube video, you'll see that we have a number of demo days coming up. Next Friday we're going to have Yonex here, and on Saturday we're going to have TaylorMade here, or vice versa. Without looking at the diary, I can't remember. But the information is in the email. Give us a ring, get something booked in. The TaylorMade equipment that's come out this year is very good. The irons have been so popular. I think the new iron has sold out literally in a matter of days. But also as well, from my point of view, being a big Mizuno man, the launch of the JPX 921 series, Hot Metal Pro, the forged JPX 921, and also the tour version, and those tour clubs will more than likely be going in my bag in the next week or so. Once I've actually done a fitting for myself, I'm going to get myself a new set of clubs, because my JPX 919s are a few years old now and they're ready for changing. So start thinking about your equipment. There's so much good stuff come out. For those of you who've been fitted recently at the Callow demo day, you'll have seen the difference with the new Maverick equipment that you've been trying. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Tailor-made to your game, shafts, lofts, etc. Today, on Breakfast with Evo, the reason why we're here on the driving range is that I really wanted to talk to you today about the versatility of the new drivers that you've probably been fitted with over the last 10 years or so. And remember that those drivers have full adjustability. And if you're not using that adjustability, you're probably missing out on what you actually should be doing. Certainly through the seasons, the golf course has just become a lot wetter over the last couple of weeks. And for that reason, you need to start lofting your drivers up a little bit more. Try to get the ball to carry a little bit more. I'm going to show you how to do that in a second. And vice versa, remember that when the spring is finished and your ball is rolling more on the fairway, you don't necessarily need that high ball flight anymore. We're going to try and loft those drivers down, work with that lower loft, try to get the ball landing on the ground, running down the fairway, etc., etc. And that's really going to hold you in good stead for hitting the ball further, making those second shots to the greens a lot shorter. So I'll grab my driver, we'll have a little tinker around with it, and I'll show you exactly what to do to change the lofts, but yet still hit it as straight as you have been. My current driver is a Ping G410 driver. I think it's a great club. I may not hit it as far as some of the other models that are out there at the moment, but I'm just finding so much consistency in this club. I find it very easy to hit, and I find it much easier to hit on the fairway. This is a low spin version, and for that reason I want higher launch, so I've got this driver at the moment set on its standard loft, which is 10.5 degrees. I'm happy on the course to manipulate my setup to actually make the ball go higher or lower, so let's remember that that really is an option as well. But if you're not feeling as confident to do that, just remember we can adjust this driver and we can change those positions. So first of all, I'm going to show you exactly what you should be doing with your setup if you want to change the ball flight of your driver. So remember, that's fairly simple. Let's talk about the natural ball position for a driver, which is opposite my left heel. And I can get myself set up in that left heel ball position. And as you can see, because of that ball position, I must try and keep the line across my arms, hips and shoulders nice and square. But because the ball position is forward, you'll notice that my chin now is much further behind the ball than normal or would be with an iron played from the middle. And now as I turn behind the ball, you can see I've got plenty of room to release the golf club past the ball, and that's how we create that higher launch. So this will be a driver. It's from that heel ball position. And for those of you thinking I'm just about to hit the houses, well, I'm going to have to tone this one down a little bit. So just a nice easy swing. We're set up. Watch how the left shoulder turns behind the ball, and then I can come through, clipped it a bit low, but a nice swing, and off it goes nice and straight from that ball position. So if we want the ball to go a lot higher, remember, all I now need to do is to move my ball position even further forwards. So it may feel a bit odd, and it's certainly going to make your body try to turn and aim left, so make sure that you keep yourself nice and square. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to move the ball position now out in front of my left toe, and you can do that as much as you want. Now all of a sudden now you can see how different the position of the sternum is. I'm leaning more and more to the right, turn behind the ball. Now all of a sudden I can hit that shot. It's gone so much higher. Now what we're going to do now is change that position if necessary. We can change it to hit a lower shot. And all I'm going to do there is I'm going to move my driver ball position to the middle of my stance. Now this one is going to feel incredibly awkward for those people who really are used to having that ball opposite the left heel. And look what I do now. I've moved the ball position back. The handle seems as if it's way too far forward, and I've had to really work hard on keeping that club face in a square position. And as I turn to the top now, you'll see that my left shoulder is nowhere near as much behind the ball, and that means as I rotate through, I'm going to compress the ball in a lower fashion and squeeze it out there. This is the kind of shot that you use into the wind on a links course, get the ball chasing down the fairway. Let's have a go with that. we'll see the left shoulder doesn't get anywhere near behind, driving the ball through. Now that's gone miles low. It's also gone a bit left, so not great, but certainly a much lower ball flight. And you can see how I've manipulated the ball flight to get myself to hit those different shapes. If you're not up for doing that and it feels really awkward, I completely understand, but obviously as a coach I want you to really try that if you can, and don't be afraid to try it on the range. If you're allowed to use driver on here because you don't hit it past 220, try it. If you don't want to, simply take your wrench that's been supplied with your driver. You can undo this screw at the top, which is fairly easy to do. Take the two components apart, and remember most of these now are built with round Tour 360 grips so that it doesn't matter where the writing is. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you that I can change this driver into a variation of different positions. Let's see if we can get that in, maybe focused or not, but there's the standard. So we'd pop that in there on the 0, which is a standard, and I can go -1, -1.5 if I turn in that direction, so that's the minus signs, or I can add 1 degree, or I can add 1.5 degrees to that there. I'm going to keep it on standard because you know what, I'm happy changing my positions around, so I'll pop it back on standard and get myself set up once again. You'll hear the ratchet, click it a few times so it doesn't over tighten, and back in position. Okay, let's have a quick recap. And standard ball position, remember, left heel, and because the ball's on the left heel, we don't lean forward to try to match an iron setup. No, left heel ball position, remember your chin should now be in the center of your stance. And because of it, look at the sternum, it's leaning to the right, and this gives you that fantastic position to be able to launch the ball in plus numbers. And when you have a session on the TrackMan with me, that's exactly what we're going to be looking at on the TrackMan. We're going to be looking at getting that driver launch angle into high plus figures. The angle of attack wants to be plus as well, because remember, if the ball is forward, we're always going to be striking that driver on its way back up, not on its way down as it would be if I moved that ball back in my stance. Now we're into negative numbers on the TrackMan. We're angle of attack down, driving the ball into the ground. And that's okay if you've got lots of loft, obviously, but remember, that's why the driver in this position goes so low. Okay, so let's have a little recap, shall we, on those driver ball positions. Remember, if we want the ball to go really high, we've got to make sure that we get the ball position further forward, keep the chest square so that we can get the right type of rotation. We'll be much further behind the ball, and we can launch in the right direction and really start to hit some high drives, downwind, soft ground conditions, pitch the ball further. Absolutely perfect. Standard ball position, remember, get on your left heel. That should be a nice position to achieve and quite simple. Bringing it back into the center, that's going to be a lot more difficult. So remember, it doesn't matter what it feels like. Keep everything square. You can still hit great shots, and you'll be in a perfect position to do that from that middle ball position. If you want the ball to go lower, chase it down the fairways if they're dry. Certainly against the wind, it's another winning ball flight. The TrackMan can tell us about all of these angles, and remember, it's plus angles with driver coming through. If we want it to go high, it's a plus launch. We hit the ball on the way up. If I move the ball so far back, I'm always hitting down. That'll give me a negative angle of attack, driving the ball into the ground. So we can test exactly what's going on with your driver at the moment, how it's launched, how it should be set up. Remember, I've shown you how to change it all, and if you do that, you'll understand more about why your drives are either going low, high, right, left, etc, etc. So make sure that you actually get something booked in that we can have a look with the TrackMan, get your numbers, And another exciting thing about this amazing piece of equipment is that you can bring your iPad to a session, log on to the TrackMan, and you can capture the entire lessons data on your iPad by just downloading the TrackMan app. We can talk to you about that when you book a session, but really, really good data for you to take home, show you exactly what you did in your lesson and what we're actually giving you to do to improve it. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this morning's session on driver, how we're going to change driver loft to use it to your advantage. Remember, from our point of view, please read the email. It's got lots of information about next week's demo events. Those guys are coming here. They all use TrackMan 4 as well. They're going to have all this data for you. From my point of view, I want you to get booked in on that Sunday to come and see me. If you're a Mizuno player, if your Mizuno irons are of a model which probably looks like it may need changing, the new JPX 921 is an absolutely fantastic bit of kit, superb to look at, and with Mizuno as well, amazing feel, really good workability of the ball. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you next time on Breakfast with Evo. Please pay us a visit. It's been a little bit quiet at the shop. We all want to see you as soon as possible. I know today out on the golf course is absolutely packed. I'll be in the shop all day. Hope to see you soon.